Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a philosophical text that proposes a pretty radical worldview. It's one that challenges our most basic ideas about how reality works, and it all starts with some very, very strange math.
So let's just jump right in with the author's central and, very provocative claim, 1 + 1 = 0. Now, I know what you're thinking, but hang on, this isn't a math lesson. It's actually a philosophical key.
Right. So the big question is, how can this possibly be true? Well, according to the source material, this equation isn't really about numbers. It's about a cosmic balancing act. And if you can wrap your head around it, it's the first step towards seeing the world in a completely different way. To really get what's going on with that equation, we first have to understand what the author actually means by zero. And let me tell you, it's not the empty number we use for our bank accounts. It's something way, way bigger.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. Zero isn't nothingness. In this philosophy, it's the fundamental underlying principle of the entire universe. You can think of it like the source code for reality, the point of perfect balance where everything comes from and where everything eventually goes back.
To make this idea a little more concrete, the text points us toward physics. Think about a positive particle meeting its exact opposite, a negative particle. What happens? They come together, they annihilate each other, and they return to a state of zero energy. 1 + 1 = 0.
We see this idea in Taoist philosophy too. You have yin, the feminine receptive energy, and yang, the masculine active energy. Neither one can exist without the other, and it's their constant dance, their interplay, that creates a harmonious whole. It's a dynamic system that's always centered on zero.
You know, this is a brilliant way to picture it. A pendulum swings from one side to the other, from positive to negative, but its entire movement is defined by that one, still, central point it has to pass through every single time: zero. The motion literally only exists because of the stillness at its center.
And the author connects this directly to classical wisdom. This line from Lao Tzu just captures the idea of zero perfectly. It's the unseen source, that formless potential, that gives rise to all the visible forms and images we see in our world.
Now, you might be thinking this is all very abstract and philosophical, but the text argues that this zero state isn't just a theory, it's an experience we can actually access, and it lays out 3 different ways to get a glimpse of this so-called formlessness.
The first path is by totally immersing yourself in vast nature. Standing at the edge of the ocean or in the middle of a desert. The second is through what the text calls a peak human experience, and it specifically points to the intensity of a sexual climax. And the third path is probably what you'd expect: disciplined practices like meditation and yoga.
And what's really fascinating is that across all these different experiences, the feeling described is almost identical. It's this moment where your sense of self, your ego, just kind of dissolves. And it's not scary. The text describes it as a blissful awakening, this powerful, all-consuming joy, where you feel this profound peace and connection to everything. Okay, so how do we take this, mystical, fleeting experience and actually use it in our day-to-day lives? How does this help when you're dealing with deadlines or arguments or just the frustrations of a normal day?
Well, the core practice really boils down to this one phrase: a mind that does not dwell. The whole idea is to constantly return to zero by not letting your mind get stuck or fixated on any single thing. Not a person, not an emotion, not an idea, not a memory.
This means practicing a kind of radical detachment. It's about consciously noticing your attachment to big outcomes, like success and failure, or to these really powerful emotional pairs like joy and anger, or love and hate, and then just gently letting them go, bringing your mind back to that calm central point.
And this detachment goes even deeper. It means freeing your mind from the idea of time, not getting stuck in past regrets or future worries. It means letting go of judgments about what's right and wrong or good and bad, and just seeing things as they are, without all the stories we layer on top of them.
And this is where the author makes a truly bold claim. They just say it, plain and simple. When you can achieve this state of zero, this mental formlessness where your mind no longer clings to things, that is enlightenment. You are a Buddha. The theory, they say, is just that simple.
So where does all this lead? What's the ultimate promise if you adopt this kind of worldview?
Well, the text describes it as a fundamental shift in your entire way of being in the world. And this right here just illustrates the transformation perfectly. Most of us go through life as actors. We're passive. We're reacting to a script we feel like we didn't write. We're bound by our circumstances. The goal of this whole philosophy is to become the director, to go from being passive to active, from being bound to being free, from suffering through the story to actively creating a world of bliss.
And this is where the text leaves us. It guides us right up to the very edge of understanding, but then it says that the final, crucial step, that actual leap from actor to director, from theory to reality, well, that part can't be taught. It has to be realized by you. And so it leaves us with this incredible question that's both a challenge and an invitation. How are you going to write your next scene?